If you guys don't like, scroll up this video will make you uncomfortable because I'm telling my story. And I know it might trigger some people, but there's not going to be any editing. I'm literally still in my PJs, but it needs to be told because I'm done being silenced. And this is the story that I have that nobody knows my side of the story to, and because every time I try to tell it, people reach out to me or my mom or my brother and tell me I have to take it down, and I'm not doing that this time. I'm almost 18 years old, and this is going to help me heal from something that happened in sophomore year. So this story starts around the day before the last day of school of my freshman year. I am now a senior. Well, I dropped out, but it should have been my senior year this year. And my mom and her ex-husband, they were moving into a motel. My two younger brothers, who I don't remember their ages at the time, but they are now 14 and 15, almost 15 and 16 years old. They moved in with their dad, which was like 2 hours away. They still come back and visit, but we don't see him as much. And I moved in with my brother Johnny. I was around 14 and a half, almost 15. No, I was 15, almost 16, never mind. I get my ages mixed up, but so I move in with my brother Johnny. You know my brother Johnny. Whoever doesn't, I'll tag him. But hold on. Sorry, my cat wanted in my room. So I move in with my brother Johnny. It lasts a day. I didn't like his roommate that much. Living with her, I love her as a person. She's an amazing human being, but living with her was kind of hard. And plus, my brother was 19, like fresh 19 at the time. So he obviously wasn't stable enough to take on a 15-year-old. So I moved in with my cousin, who lived like 2 blocks away. And then I would go back and forth from my cousin's houses to babysit the children. I got paid for that. Well, then it was like the last month of summer. I moved up like 2.5 hours to Ogama, Wisconsin to be with my aunt. And that's where the story takes place. During the summer, I had so much fun. I was kissing frogs. I mean, I have pictures of kissing frogs, of swimming in ponds. I learned how to swim. I was having so much fun. And then the first month of school comes, and I met my boyfriend that I'm still with now. After, I think we had like a 2-year separation. Or a year and a half, something like that. But I met him. I had good friends, and then trauma happened. My uncle Keystone beer was his beer, and I can't be around it. I can't smell it because I always remember it on his breath. Every day after my aunt left for work around like 4:30, because she had to drive, 4:35 o'clock, he would come upstairs to the room he made me and assault me. And this happened, I think, 3 months. I try to block it out now. I used to have a really big notebook. The cops have it, and I can't get it back because I missed the deadline because they sent the letter to the wrong address. But I wrote down everything in a notebook. Dates, times, what he did, where he did it. And it was consistent every morning. Then I started having to try on all my clothes in front of him. I'm talking swimsuits, I'm talking bras, underwear, all of it. And then my boyfriend, Garrett, knew what was going on, and he told my gym teacher. He wasn't my gym teacher. I didn't have gym that year. But I was still very close with the gym teacher because he was an amazing human being. He still is an amazing human being. He told him I wasn't acting myself. I was in sweats a lot, sweaters. He told him, and basically, I think it was around 8th hour, I'm not sure, he pulled me out of class, talked to me, and I remember the words he said, "Cheyenne, is there something you need to tell me?" and I broke down into tears. Straight, just bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, I told him everything. And he took me to the counseling room, and I had to talk to 2 counselors who I was like, please don't call the cops, please don't call the cops. I have nowhere to go right now. My mom lived in a fucking motel room with 1 bed room 2 hours away with her ex-husband that was also an abusive drunk that I didn't like. So they obviously ended up calling the cops. I spent the last, I think, hour and a half of school bawling my eyes out. Good thing we were watching a movie in 8th hour. I think we were watching A Raisin in the Sun. Garrett was in the same room, and he sat 4 people down from me. And so I'm sitting there with my head down on the desk. My IEP teacher, Miss Granberg, behind me. And she took me out of the room because I was just a crying mess. I get home. I was the whole bus ride home, because buses. The whole bus ride home, I was not crying. I was kind of in a state of shock because I didn't know if I was going to go home and the cops were going to be there, or if I was going to go home and I was going to get yelled at, or what. But I went home. It was a calm environment in a way. My aunt was gutting a deer. Then she started yelling at me for failing school, for failing classes, and having missing work. And my uncle was still there. He was hanging. He was like draining. He was in the garage draining a deer. Sorry. This is hard to talk about. But around 10:30 we were watching a movie. No, it wasn't a movie. It was The Masked Singer. It was when Amber Riley got unmasked. We were watching that. And I was sitting on the couch, and he bit me. And my aunt was in a rocking chair like this. He bit me, like, right here, and I said, ow. And they both said, oh, come on, it wasn't that hard. He started doing stuff right there. I don't know if my aunt saw. I don't care. I go upstairs, feel disgusting, and I cry myself to sleep. Around 11:30, 2 flashlights walk up the stairs, because I lived in the attic. We made the attic into my bedroom. 2 officers were like, ma'am, you have to wake up. And I look at them, and they're like, do you have clothes on? Because I, like, pulled my covers. I'm just like, yeah, and I was just scared. I just woke up. They take my uncle. They keep me upstairs. They take my uncle. My aunt was downstairs on the phone. They take me, the CPS people take me, and then they interview me in the CPS headquarters around 2:30 in the morning. My aunt said that I was welcome to go back with her, but I said no. I said that's not safe. I get sent to a foster care home. I get placed in foster care at 4:30 a.m. And then so I get placed in a home around 4:30 in the morning. They ask if I want any snacks. I said no. I go and lay down after I get told the rules. I lay down. The next morning I go to school, and I'm just a crying mess. My whole family, besides my siblings and my mom, disowned me because they didn't want to hear my story. It was an emotional roller coaster because 2 weeks before court, he killed himself, which made my family hate me even more. We had to move. Just by this time, I'm back with my mom, and she pushed me back into foster care for my safety. I'm finally back with my mom, and then I'm going back and forth, but I'm still not fully healed, and it still hurts me because he was my uncle. Thank you for listening. Your story matters too.